Welcome to another episode of The Influential Nonprofit. As usual, I'm your host. I'm Marianne. If you're watching this, you're going to want to, because I'm totally matching my back wall today. And I'm feeling very coordinated. And I'm showing up lovely on video, which is what we're going to talk about today is video. Authentic storytelling using video with Owen O'Doherty of DonorSee. And I'm really excited to have this conversation because Owen, I think video is the way to go. And I think this is being very underutilized by nonprofit leaders and communicators. So welcome to the Influential Nonprofit.
Oh, thanks so much, Marianne. It's a real pleasure to be here with you and real pleasure to be talking to your listeners.
Yeah. Okay. So before we do this, I always start with the first question, which is tell me something you're proud of that you don't get to brag about a lot.
Well, I can tell you something I'm proud of, but I do get to brag about it quite a lot. I'm incredibly proud of our team and the work they're doing. We've got an amazing team at DonorSee. They come in to work every day with a real mission to help others in the world, but also really help and amplify our nonprofit partners. And we have customers, nonprofits from the very, very small up to the very, very large, like raising hundreds of millions of dollars per year. And regardless, they jump into their team and help them with their strategy and marketing and etc. So they're fantastic people, and I'm deeply proud of them. I'm deeply proud to work with them.
That's awesome. And is there something that you don't get to brag about a lot?
Well, listen, my better half has just gotten a job working for a company that's doing technology for space travel. She's a technologist. She's a senior engineer. So I'm incredibly proud of her. She's pushing the envelope for female engineers and also for really work on the cutting edge of innovation. So her name is Jacqueline, and yeah, so I'm excited and really proud of her as well.
There we go. Way to go, Jacqueline. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it with a video and the storytelling. Now, I have some thoughts on this, but I want to hear what are, we know that nonprofits can be slow to change, right? We're typically like not the first adapters to things, you know. And what are some of the challenges that you see as far as nonprofits really embracing, you know, and adapting to more video storytelling?
Yeah, I guess I'd answer that kind of question in two ways. Really, you know, whilst certainly they're traditionally more slow to change potentially, but actually we see quite often that they're incredibly innovative and have teams that are really kind of progressive and want to push the envelope in terms of transferring away from the more transactional kind of giving to more progressive, responsive fundraising. But some of those challenges still exist. So, you know, a couple of challenges. One is, you know, finding that they have a lack of resources on the ground potentially is something that they run into. And there's a fear then that, oh, you know, how am I going to record this video, or how can we get people on the ground who are representing us to either take a video or do updates or take images from the ground? That's one thing. And then, you know, sometimes there's a slowness to change within the organizations themselves. However, that's shifting, and we do see that shifting, and we've been very lucky to work with a whole bunch of organizations that are pushing ahead on that front. Now, what we do is we make that really easy. So we have, we have a huge donor community that want to give to our nonprofit partners that are raising money for projects all around the world. But also then we have a product called Rise for nonprofits that they can launch out of the box, and it allows them to deliver that 10-star donor experience and engagement using media, using video, using follow-ups in what effectively looks like a social media platform that's easy to use for their teams. And then it allows them to grow and nurture their community. So they may have an incredible impact with it. They're probably, you know, we've measured this, the retaining and getting repeat donors at about 3x the normal charitable giving. So it's incredibly successful. And the reason for that is rather than having this transactional, you know, sending out a mailer every now and again, sending out emails, etc., it allows them within the community on the platform in their own branding to post community updates, to post projects. There's a full suite of peer-to-peer sponsorships, recurring giving, etc. in it. But also then it's done in a way that really engages the donor. We have a saying, we want to bring the donor to the scene of their giving. And once you do that and they're part of your community and they see what you're doing, they're connected to what you're doing, they come back time and time again. But not only that, to become evangelists for what you're doing as well, which is an incredibly powerful thing.
Right. My friend Amy Fazio taught me this phrase: people come for the cause, they stay for the community. And
Exactly.
I love what you said about putting people, say it again, putting people at the
bring them to the scene of their giving.
Bring them to the scene of the
know,
giving. Yeah.
There's so many people out there and they're doing incredible work. They're going out and volunteering across the world. They're missionaries, but not everybody can do that. But you can give people that experience from the comfort of their own homes if they can sign up to your community on a platform like we have, and then give to your projects, and then get video and message updates that are kind of sent to mobile and sent to their web app. It's very easy for your team, but then you're nurturing and growing this community all the time, and it's that authentic storytelling that's really, really important. There's a perception as well, if you I can expand on it a little bit, but there's a perception that like video has to be this really slick production, that it's like something like a Hollywood movie. Actually, we found the opposite to be true, and it might seem counterintuitive, but if you have just a grainy video or image that's taken on a mobile app and posted, it actually conveys the story and authenticity in a much clearer way. And not only that, but people actually want to hear the bad stuff rather than the good. Sometimes nonprofits or fundraising organizations will say, hey, we better not let the donors know about the bad news because we only want to share the good news. But actually, the opposite is true. Once they're brought along and hear the downside as well, they're actually more attached to what you're doing. And sometimes they'll even come up with suggestions as well on how you can fix it.
I want to talk about that for a little bit, because I always look at the organization donor relationship like a personal relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So if you and I were friends, all I talked about was how great my life was, that would just be like, you're like, okay, come on, Marianne, come on, because nothing, right? And it's the same way, like it's not authentic. It's people want to know the real story. They want to know the truth. And I don't know when this happened. I mean, honestly, like when we felt like we had to polish everything, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like make it really shiny and pretty. And that's what was going to engage people. Because that is not what you know to be true and how your business works. And it's what I know to be true and how my business works. The more authentic, honest, transparent you are, the more people will flock to you,
100%. Yeah. It's like, be real and be authentic, and it makes a lot of difference. And what we found as well is if you can kind of support the teams in the nonprofits that are doing it, which we do within our own team, they don't have to like spend a whole lot of time on these updates. They can just kind of get them out quite quickly. And not only that, we have kind of built in the feed where any updates to any project or any fundraising initiative is, there for the whole community to see, and they can get alerts if they follow as well. So you get this cross-pollination effect between various different fundraising campaigns within the community. And then you can share the good news and you can share the bad news. And it's not, just relying on sending the emailers or the mailers or the newsletter at Christmas time.
All right. I think that, and I would love to hear a reaction to this, because one of the biggest ways that people receive information is video. I mean, 100%. And I'm like, yes, social media, Instagram, video, TikTok, YouTube, all of that. But then also on, television and traditional television, just like that's mostly how we receive information. I mean, or that and especially more increasingly like kind of shorter video. And I feel like we're not telling the story that way. We're defaulting to written stories, right? And we're really focusing on written stories, and then maybe like creating video, maybe, I don't know. So
yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. So there is definitely a place for written, and the way we have it set up within the project scope is people can create their campaigns or their projects with video, or if they don't want to use video, they can use images, but there's also a description. And funnily enough, we've been tracking that, and quite often people will watch the video. They'll scan down through the feed on the on the nonprofit partners pages, and they'll see things that they like, and they get a kind of a sense of the story. And then they'll actually go ahead and read the description that's put under it as well. But video is the key piece. And there's a lot of stats actually to back that up. So in the last 2 years, there's been a 96% increase in the consumption of video online. And about 90% of consumers, even outside in the wider world, expect to see more content from people and companies and organizations that they support. So if you're not doing it, you're missing a trick. And the way we've set it up is we set it up so it integrates very nicely into the rest of the tools that are in the platform, but also then you can kind of use it to augment the mailers and the emailers and things like that people have been having success with for years.
All right, I want to just reframe this. So you said 90% increase in the last 2 years of video consumption.
96%. And actually that was in 1 year, that was in 2021. And
yeah.
And a 90% increase in consumer expectation for getting video
or
content
new content. And also, I know this because I got this right at trivia night the other night, and I was the only one in the room who did the most searched website of 2021, higher than Google, was TikTok. More people did TikTok searches than Google searches, which is insane if you think about it in 2021. That's how powerful that is. And go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I was just going to say yes, 100%. And actually, we do quite a bit of work across TikTok and Facebook and Instagram as well. And we advise then our nonprofit partners on that. So we've ex-Meta people who we came over and decided to do some great stuff in the world. And, so we created pieces of content that have been watched 6-8 million times online, and they're incredibly powerful channels. And the way to kind of work with them is not to be doing asks all the time, but rather show the good news and show the trials of what you're doing, and then kind of interlace them with asks. So using that with the combination of our platform has proved extremely successful for people, and then they can point people from those channels into their profile and usage on our platform as well, which drives even more volume. Yeah.
So because that's what I was going to get at before, and so in your platform, it's making it really easy to create and send and use video, not just send it, but then posting it right on social media.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the important aspect of it. It's the case of not trying to do all of the slick production all the time, but it's about telling stories that are authentic, and then you get a real sense of what's causing the heartstrings or causing people's interest to spike in terms of what you're doing. And we found we've partners who have worked in education, who do child nutrition, who do health, who do entrepreneurship in developing countries and crisis areas, and they're all finding a tremendous success with this. And we made it as well. It's been designed specifically to integrate with websites and existing assets for nonprofits, and that's an important piece as well. So they can kind of take it out of the box and start using it very, very quickly.
I want to go back to something, because in the authentic storytelling and creating of videos is what I see, and I just want to know how it works in your platform. What I love to see are people who are running organizations, and this has been like a bit different than in the past. And even I was the person who was like, why is your executive director on the front of your newsletter? Like, that's not what it's about. You know what I mean? And also, what I like to see are leaders that are talking about and advocating for the folks they serve, talking about the issues they face in just a very real way, which I think a lot of folks are just, that makes them, I think a lot of resistance comes up for people. One, because they don't want to make it about them. And then two, is like, they may not be comfortable, just letting it flow on a video. And I do feel like that is really key, and it's a big shift. So you're not, because you don't have a relationship with an institution, you have a relationship with a person, right? So
Mhm.
like they know you, or they, you know, they know that this person, and I know they work in this organization and they have a relationship, or they feel like they have a relationship with them. And I think that's a big shift. And I'm just wondering, like, what you see or how people use your platform. Are they doing, like, you know, are they like, is it more focused on, hey, we're showing you like what happens and, you know, where the money is, or are they doing like more like thought leadership? I'm just interested in what that looks like.
Well, so they can use it for those different use cases, if you want, if you will. But what they're primarily using it for is showing the impact of
Gotcha.
the support that people have given. Because too often, you know, it's very transactional, you know, and we all have, you know, given to things in the past, and you know, you give the money and that's it, and you kind of forget about it. And you know, every now and again, you might get an email or something like that, or you might get something that's collated. It might become once every 3 or 4 months, but or maybe sometimes people put a lot of production into this very nice looking pack that goes out at Christmas time, asking for your support again next year. But then you never, you know, you never really get to see the impact of the good that you do on a regular basis. So our platform is all about showing people the impact, and and it's very educational piece as well. So we've got a lot of parents that come on and support partners with their kids. So you know, they'll give them some pocket money every week to give to projects on the platform as well, which is really exciting. So it's kind of an educational piece as well. So that kind of authentic storytelling, then it can be, you know, telling, you know, so we've raised money to build with a partner to build a STEM high school, for example, in Malawi, which is a model school for the rest of Africa, the first STEM high school in the country for girls and boys. So that's designed to drive science, technology, engineering, maths, and raise the country up from those leaders that will come out of that school. But so, you know, our partner who was doing that particular project, then they'd every now and again they'd show a picture or a clip or a video of the actual bricks coming up from the foundation, or, you know, showing the plans, or, you know, a little bit of some information around the community. And that kind of flavor is incredibly compelling if you're drawn to support that type of an initiative in another country. But it takes many different forms. So, you know, it could be just like a little video from a village, or this is somebody who was supported and this is how they're doing today versus when you supported them initially. And again, that's amazing stuff. It's very, very compelling. It can be an image, written, or video form, and you know, the stats, and it proves actually that the people will come back and support more and more of your projects and really get connected to the good that you do. And too often, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's listening to this podcast today will probably you know, understand this. Too often, particularly if you're chasing one-time donations from people, there's a huge churn rate. You know, they'll bring
Mm-hmm.
them in, they spend a lot of money acquiring them, and then all of a sudden they'll give once, and they you know, they don't see 75-80% of them again. They're gone. So we work, you know, very carefully to build that 10-star donor experience within the platform that brings them back in about 3x that. And also then we've kind of built in a conversion to get them to monthly giving for our partners as well, which means they don't have to be chasing the one-time
Wow.
donations every
So
year.
that's
So
part of the program, is like helping people to convert people to monthly giving.
yeah, we have a very kind of light touch within the donation flow, and there's a give monthly button as well on each partner's own like branded version of the platform that they can launch out of the box. So the supporter can give monthly, or if they give once, then they're very gently asked, would you like to support the work we do monthly? And it's every now and again based on kind of smart technology in the background. So it's a tool to drive conversion to monthly in addition to all of that other stuff.
Wow. All right. And so I just explained a little bit more about, because you talked about out of the box, right? How does the product work? And, you know,
Mhm.
like for, if I had never, you know, if I'm listening, I don't know anything about DonorSee, tell me how the product works then, or how you would start with it.
Yeah, well, the first thing would be just to reach out to us. So we have our own community of donors as well, I should say, that support projects that are posted by partners. So that's on the DonorSee.com website. But actually, this particular product, Rise by DonorSee, your listeners can go to actionrise.com. That's actionrise.com and check it out. And it's a very easy onboarding session. We have our teams as well that support and train the people from your team and give you help around strategy and marketing, etc., while they're at it. And it's a quick, we get your logos, all that sort of stuff, and then it's a branded platform basically that's launched out of the box. And we go one step further, which is actually very, very cool. The technology nerd in me kind of likes this stuff, but we can create a custom URL for you. So rather than say if your name is nonprofit.com, if we take that example, the custom URL would be app.nonprofit.com. That would land directly on your white label version of the platform. So
Gotcha.
to your community, it looks like, hey, you've built this really amazing platform and it's fully in your branding. It's fully donor locked down for your community as well. There's no donor cannibalization or loss or anything like that. And then you can actually integrate that directly into your website, either just as a link or even as a sign up, sign in button. So you're capturing that organic traffic onto your community on the platform. And we make that seamless and very easy for nonprofit partners at all levels, even at the smaller level, all the way up to the very large ones.
So do you work? I get a sense this is you work like internationally. Like where are your partners located? Everywhere?
We partners in 38 countries at the moment. So
wow.
So there's everywhere at the moment, and we're not geographically confined, I guess. So we've done a lot of work as well in terms of the data protection and policies around that to make sure it's compliant in Europe under GDPR as well as here in the US. So we have partners everywhere, and we have partners doing, I would say, to date, humanitarian work is their sweet spot. Partners that do humanitarian work, but it can be used for fundraising organizations generally. And so they're everywhere, and they're doing great work in all different environments for different subject areas. We have people who have hospitals for eye hospitals for kids. We have crisis areas like war-torn areas around the world, etc. We have disaster areas, but we also have a lot of kind of developmental projects as well. And it's about supporting the nonprofits so they can amplify their efforts.
Right. So what do you let's just look at what do you see coming in the future? We talked about video, and all of that. What do you see as kind of the next thing or the next wave, or from your global perspective? I mean, what's coming?
Yeah, it really depends on kind of how far out you're looking on that one. If you look 5 years out, I think it's going to be, I think responsive fundraising, knowing your donor extremely well and using algorithm and AI-driven stuff within a platform like ours. And we have a lot of smart technology in ours in order to take some of that manual work off your hands, or a lot of the manual work. I think it's going to be really, really important. That's already in play, but it's going to get a lot smarter over the next 5 years. My own perception, if you took like a 50-year broad view, is that the proliferation of virtual reality and augmented reality is going to be a big thing. So we think bringing the donor to the scene of their impact is a huge thing that's very, very compelling. But can you imagine a situation if somebody's wearing an augmented reality set, and if your listeners are not familiar with those, they're basically a set that you put on and you can kind of see the landscape around you, but it superimposes images and virtual reality images and video on top of that. So we think that it's going to evolve to the point where somebody will be able to put on a headset and actually go to a troubled area. So say they're in a very poor village in a underdeveloped part of the world, they can actually go in, walk around the village and actually go up and maybe they can stop and listen to a story that's been told by somebody who's in, not just a story of want and need, but I'm sure that will be the case, but also a story of this is what my life is like. So it'll be a very hugely attuned educational piece. And then you'll be able to give directly within that augmented reality experience. And we also see that as well as being a way to bring people to conflict zones obviously not
Woo.
in like looking at war
Yeah.
zones, and that combined with the AI and smart technology is going to offer a lot of opening the world for travel. And I know that probably sounds scary for a lot of people, but and it's probably not even 50 years out. It could be just 10 to 15 years out, but that will be the way that the donor experience at least will go. And then there will obviously be kind of smarter technology for the nonprofits on the more administrative side as well, which we do a lot of work on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that seems amazing. I was just, as you were talking, I was thinking about one of my clients, and she runs an organization in Rwanda, and she just spent 2 weeks there. Right. And then as she was there, of course, she's blogging and posting photos. Like, what would it be like for me to put a headset on and just be in that,
right there in it,
yeah.
and I've had some of these experiences already where it's just, you're putting on the headset and it's kind of more of a recorded experience. And I guess there will be an element of that as well. But, you can just imagine the superimposed where you might have a budget, say the giving budget that you go in and you're going around the world and you're looking, and then you're learning, you're educating your kids, and maybe your kids have a giving budget within that experience, and then to say, listen, that person is deserving, I'd like to help them, or they have a story that really conveys something to me, and I'd like to
Yeah.
help them, and then convey them within that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Whew. Okay, that was a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
We're going out into the future there, but that's
Like,
the kind of,
and what I see coming, breaking the time-space continuum, and
yeah. But listen, that's out in the future. To any of your listeners, they don't need to be worried about our platform being in that space right now.
No, but
That's
right now it's really about authentic storytelling, using video, and checking out DonorSee if that is a way that you can really maximize engagement by telling those video stories and getting really connecting with people.
100%. The video is a huge part of it, but also we allow people to have flexibility around that, so they can use text and images as well. But video is a huge part of that. And if I may say, if any of your listeners are interested as well, they can go to the website actionrise.com and just click on the talk to us.
The video, what is the website?
www.actionrise.com.
Okay.
Action Rise. So Rise is the product that I've been referring to. And they can just click on talk to us. And we have a special offer as well, if you don't mind me telling your listeners about it.
Yeah.
Marianne, we're big fans of your podcast.
Thank you.
Well, listen, I listen to it all the time, and it's really good. But if any of your listeners are interested and just want to come on and check out what we're doing, or maybe set up a demo, or even just talk to one of us, we also have a special offer as well for any nonprofits or people from nonprofits watching. We're giving 25% off for the first 3 months. If anybody wants to check out our what we do and take it on, and they can reach out anyway and just check it out and see if it's a fit for them.
Yeah.
So all they can go on and just click the talk to us on actionrise.com, and if you want to put on like a little hashtag saying, I heard you on the Influential Nonprofit podcast, then all the better.
Perfect. And we'll put that link in there. We'll put all the info in the show notes so you all can grab that. And this has been great. Okay, I always end with the last question, which is, as you know, I forget, where are you located? I forget.
Well, we're based out of Virginia, just outside DC in Fairfax. That's our headquarters.
Yes.
But we have some of our team are in the US, obviously. Then we have some of our team in Europe.
And where are you?
Well, currently I'm in Europe, but I'm heading back to the US in a week or two's time. So at the moment, I'm actually in Portugal in Lisbon. Okay. So
wow. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
well,
so
if I'm in a karaoke bar in Lisbon and you and I are singing karaoke, what's your go-to song? What are you gonna sing?
Well, I tell you what, so this is like real old power ballad stuff. It's probably not my thing, but I was walking past the sign yesterday and I saw Bonnie Tyler is playing here. Do you remember Bonnie Tyler?
Oh yeah, Totally Eclipse of the Heart, of course.
There you go. So let's go with that one, Totally Eclipse of the Heart.
That sounds great. Let's do that one.
That'll be a powerful duet from the two of us, Marianne.
Yeah. Turn around. Yeah, of course. We can do that one. All right. Well, Owen, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and thanks for sharing your platform and all the information about using video. And I hope people go check out the website, and if it's for you, book a demo, and just, you never know, you can see. Either way, what we know for sure is video is the future is here, and it is video, right? All right, and that's it for me and the Influential Nonprofit, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Marianne, and thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks.